Dallas, when Rasmus Dahlin walked across the stage as the #1 overall pick of the NHL draft on Friday night, the 18-year-old defenseman could count himself in rare company. In the 55 years since the NHL instituted its amateur draft, Dahlin is just the second Swede to be taken first overall. So, no pressure. Sole previous wearer of the Tre Kroner deemed worthy of the top pick is Matt Sundin, and he only made it to the Hall of Fame. The Buffalo Sabres followed the script, making defenseman Rasmus Dahlin just the second Swedish player ever drafted. No. 1. Michael Ainsworth, AP, "It's the coolest thing I've ever done," Dahlin said. "So many emotions right now, and I love it." As rare as Dahlin's offensive talent appears to be, and it's certainly rarer than his first name, which he shared with the Maple Leafs' first-round selection, fellow Swedish defenseman Rasmus Sandin, and 20th pick Rasmus Kupari, the Finnish centerman taken by the LA Kings. Dahlin's arrival came with a familiar feeling. Given he was the choice of the Buffalo Sabres, who haven't won a playoff game in 11 years, Dahlin is another in a line of teenagers being heralded as the savior of a wayward franchise. Recent history suggests it's a tough ask. Even Connor McDavid, the #1 pick in 2015, has delivered one trip to the postseason in 3 seasons in Edmonton. Still, as fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs can tell you, it's difficult to find truly elite talent without the benefit of a top pick. The Maple Leafs had been looking in vain for a #1 centerman ever since Sundin left town in 2008. It wasn't until they drafted Auston Matthews with the #1 selection in 2016 that they found one. It goes without saying Matthews has been a huge reason for the Leafs' presence in the playoffs in 2 straight seasons since his arrival. Matthews, of course, isn't the only reason. Team president Brendan Shanahan deserves credit for setting in motion a series of events that has led to a promising assemblage of talent that seems, even for the historically star-crossed Leafs, too good to screw up. Article continued. Belov, it's almost hard to fathom that it was just 5 years ago that the Maple Leafs counted themselves as one of the league's biggest disasters. A teardown, some heady drafting and ultimately the lottery win that brought Matthews, were all required to undo the mess. The announcement of Toronto's haul from Friday's first round, "That's Sandin, not Sundin," probably won't go down as an epical moment in franchise history, although one never knows for sure. Rookie GM Kyle Dubas, as was his custom when he ran Toronto's draft in 2015, traded the 25th pick to St. Louis for the 29th and 76th picks. Sandin is a crafty, highly skilled blue liner, the second straight Swedish D-man taken by the Maple Leafs in the first round after Timothy Liljegren, who was picked 17th last year. Beyond projecting Sandin's future, for fans of the blue and white, the draft offered a moment to take some pleasure in the relative peace in Leafland. The site of hockey's biggest mess has long moved elsewhere. Now it's possibly residing in Montreal. Less than 3 years after being rewarded with a 6-year contract extension, General Manager Mark Bergevin is a beleaguered executive scrambling to recover from a series of widely panned trades that have seen the likes of PK Subban, Mikhail Sergachev and Alex Galchenyuk leave town for questionable returns, with 30-year-old Carey Price soon to begin drawing from an 8-year contract extension worth $84 million US. In the wake of a season that saw Price put up a .900 save percentage, this week Bergevin seemed to acknowledge the possibility that his professional leash is shortening. "I have to look at the long term of the Montreal Canadiens regardless if I'm here or not," Bergevin said. His selection to finish centerman Jesperi Kotkaniemi with Friday's third overall pick is a nod to that future. Or maybe hockey's biggest mess lives in Edmonton. 3 years since McDavid became the Oilers' fourth one pick in a 6-year span, fans of the once proud franchise just watched one of those top selections, Taylor Hall, win the Hart Trophy for the New Jersey Devils. GM Peter Chiarelli can count Hall's 2016 shipment in exchange for defenseman Adam Larsson among a long list of lamentable moves that have left him in desperate search of solutions to difficult problems. Friday's 10th overall selection of Evan Bouchard, the high-scoring defenseman of the London Knights, at least offered hope for long-sought help on the back end. Surely hockey's biggest mess makes its home in Ottawa. If Brady Tkachuk, the Senators' 4th overall pick, looked slightly forlorn as he took the stage, you'll understand why. There isn't a more pitiable figure in Canadian pro sports than Ottawa GM Pierre Dorion. On Thursday, Dorion presumably felt forced to stand in front of a group of reporters and insist that the Senators will be better next season. He was saying this after trading away Mike Hoffman, Ottawa's top goal scorer when you combine the past 5 seasons, for pennies on the dollar in the wake of a bizarre harassment scandal. He was saying this while Erik Karlsson, the 2-time Norris Trophy-winning defenseman, is widely assumed to be destined for elsewhere via trade. He was saying this before news broke that Craig Anderson, the veteran goaltender, has expressed his interest in moving on from the train wreck. But what else could Dorion say? In attendance challenged Ottawa, where owner Eugene Melnyk spent a memorable afternoon in December threatening to relocate the team if fans don't show up. Rebuilt is a dirty word. Article continued below. Toronto's been down that pain-riddled road and come away stronger. With so many promising pieces already in place, Friday's draft didn't come attached with particularly high stakes for Dubas. The real pressure was on the likes of Burke, Evan, Chiarelli and Dorion. The real pressure, when play resumes in October, will be on Dahlin. Being no. One comes with its burdens and its gifts. The Sabres can only hope the weight of the former doesn't lay waste to the latter. Dave Fezchuk is a Toronto-based sports columnist. Follow him on Twitter, @Defezchuk.